right, y'all. Give me a minute. Get this link out. Just when you think everything's straightened out. All right, let me get this to the group. Type. Wow. It is definitely Friday. All right. There we go. Hey, y'all. Gotta get my gloves on. Been fighting with getting this camera set up. Close that out. All right. Woo. As you come in, tell me hi. Let me know you're here. I'm going to grab my gloves and going to pour some resin. And I think, let's see, should I use Fast Cure? I mean, it really doesn't matter. I will just use regular cure. That way I'm not rushed with time. Makes it easier and I can explain better along the way. I know you guys are having an issue seeing this. My camera is being wonky. So I'll turn it this way so you can see everything. If you saw earlier my little preview, I said I was going to do sand, and I have some shells here. We're going to do some little seashells, and I have my sand that I have not added resin to yet. But we're going to put sand and shells in this area, and we're going to act like this is the beach, and this is a wave that's crashing onto the beach. So we're going to do our clear quartz crystals for this area, which these are genuine quartz crystals we're going to have for the white part. Then I'm going to have, get these out, because I was fighting with my camera. All right. I have some dark blue crushed glass, but also have these that we're going to be using, from navy to blue to like a turquoise or a teal, that we're going to build the wave from dark to deepest water, starting to get shallower up to the white cap, which will be our quartz crystals. Y'all following that part so far? Let me see. Shoot. Y'all, let's hope I don't get a phone call because I didn't turn off my phone. Nabbit. All right, let's see. There we go. I want to make sure everybody gets notice. And Lord, please don't let anyone call my phone, because then I'll have to redo this, and I don't want to do that. So fingers crossed, y'all. Cross your fingers. And we are going to be doing a giveaway at the end of our stream. So make sure you stick around. You don't want to miss that. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. But let me get some resin started so I can let this sand soak. And I don't know if I want to use my mica colors or my paste colors for this. I actually think I want to use my mica so it has some movement. There we go. If I was doing a regular beach scene, I would definitely use my pigment paste. Y'all know mica moves and migrates around, right? Honestly, you're not going to see a lot of that. I want to have that down as an undertone for any little areas that you're going to see through the crushed glass. So that's why I'm even adding any color at all. But first things first, let's get our mica mixed up. And I have a pre-measured cup. This is not going to take very much at all. In fact, I'm going to only mix 5 ounces, and I guarantee I'm going to have resin left. So let's just do 5 ounces. Put my stick over here. And I have tested these cups. So I know the measurements on the cups are correct. If you're buying cups in bulk, when you first get them in, pour some water in there. And measure that way. My handy dandy wipe off my bottle. I don't want to leave any resin around the lip, because what can happen is when you put your lid on, it can get stuck. All right. Part B, up to 5. And we're going to start mixing. And I'm going to show you a trick what I do with my sand. It's really easy, y'all. It doesn't take very much resin at all. All right. Wipe this lid off again. Don't want to close my cap on that. And I'm just using Teal's regular clear resin. I'm not using Fast Cure. And tell me if this is better. Is that too bright? Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know. 1, if it's too bright. 2, if you like it this way. I'm going to let y'all vote while I stir. I'm stirring my resin off camera. I guess I could put it on my own TV, huh? Oh, good. It's fine. Thanks, Sam. I have LED bulbs over my kitchen. And for some reason, oh, you know what it is? It's probably my white acrylic paint on here. Because for some reason it shows me that it's super bright when I turn that on. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to blind them. I want them to be able to see what I'm doing. And honestly, y'all, with this is the one time you're not going to have to worry about bubbles, because you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it from the bottom. And when we put our crushed glass over, you're not going to see because of the crushed glass. So this is one you don't have to stress about bubbles. I mean, I'm still going to go through the works and use my torch or lighter to pop whatever I see. All right. The first thing I'm going to do when I get this mixed up is I'm going to get my sand set up. And with sand, when you're working with sand for a project, you really just want this damp. Like, a sort of wet look, but you don't want it totally saturated. Because if you put too much resin in it and you put it on your piece, it's just going to spread everywhere. It's not going to stay where you want it. So don't add too much resin to your sand. And as it's drying, you can always sprinkle some of the sand over areas that you want to look more dried and less touched by the ocean. Does that make sense? And that dried sand that you sprinkle over is going to stick. It's going to be fine. All right. Y'all, I'm going to hit this with my heat gun because it is kind of cold here today. We've had some little cold snaps. So my resin is kind of cold. So I'm going to warm it up some with my heat gun. It's not going to affect anything at all. And I'll show you what I mean. The temperature is not even going to register. It's going to say low. So I know that it's cold. I can feel it in my hand too. But like I said, no biggie for what we're going to use it for. All right. So we have our resin mixed. I'm going to put my shells to the side. And I want to get a different cup because I want to show you guys. I'm going to add just a little bit. A little more than that. I'm going to add that sand. And watch, I'm just going to add. See how much resin I put on top there? That's all that I did. And let me get a different stick for that. Set this down. Grab. So they're there if I need them. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and that might have been too much resin, honestly. See how I'm just combining it like so. The best way to describe this is I know y'all have probably made cookie mix from scratch. You know how it's that sandy, sugary, like crumble coat? That's what you want, really. You don't want it saturated with a lot of resin. You want enough resin that's going to stick to where you put it without it running everywhere. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to show you. I'm just packing this with my hand for now. Actually, let me do this. Go straight down on there because we have ridges around this wood. Okay. So you see how there's a lip there? And that's fine. I don't need it up because nothing's going to overflow my board. Well, it shouldn't. We'll just put it that way. It should. Okay. So set this to the side. And I'm just pressing this down and smoothing it out level. You can do this so much easier with your hand. Right? Now I'm going to put this way. Did y'all know that little trick with sand? Have you been adding too much resin to your sand? And I want to leave some of this so we have a little bit of water there coming up onto the shore. more here in the corner. Doesn't take very much at all. Okay. And look, y'all, I used less than an ounce of resin for that cup. All right. There we go. And I'm not too worried if sand shows up in my water, right? No big deal. And I don't want an exact straight line because when you go to the beach, it's not an exact line, right? Okay, so let me get my handy dandy wipe and I'm gonna wipe my glove off with the sand. Okay, turn it over. And if you wanted to, you could change gloves. No biggie. Ta-da. So now I'm fine. We can continue on. Now, what I want to do is I want to break out resin in 3, let's do 4 colors. Okay. We'll do the dark navy blue, and I'm going to use that same navy and make it a little lighter. And then I'm going to use the turquoise, and then I'm going to use my white. And you'll see what I'm doing. Gosh, I got to get that. Okay. Baby white was trying to hang on. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of resin in these cups. I'm telling you, it's not going to take much at all. In fact, that's probably too much. I'm going to split that. Because remember, resin levels to 1/8 of an inch, right? There's that one. There's that one. And I have leftover resin, which I knew I would. And I want to show you this. I'm just going to sprinkle some sand up here. So this looks more like the dried area of the beach. Okay. And this is our wet. So you can see how I did that. We're going to do the shells and all that after. Okay. And I do have some really cute shells. I got them off Amazon. They're not very expensive. Same thing with my sand. I got it off Amazon. No big deal. Now we're going to use very small amounts of this mica. See that? That is all I'm using in this little amount here. And then I'm going to transfer some of that over to here to make it a little less, and maybe some of my turquoise in with that dark blue to bring and build that complementary color so they all work together. Here is my turquoise. Put in there. There's that one. And these are by Mica Powders. Y'all, her micas are amazing. I've had these, holy cow, at least 2 years, maybe longer than that. But look, it takes very little to make that beautiful color. See that? Gorgeous. And right now, she's got an advent calendar that's out where her advent calendar is going to preview new, never seen before micas that she's going to be introducing in her store next year, her 2026 brand new colors. I cannot wait to get that. And I'll put a link for that. I don't know if there's any left. I know they were only limited edition, and I should have shared them in my Facebook group. I don't know why I fell asleep on that. All right, so you see this is almost black. It's going to be beautiful when you see it. Now, I'm just going to add some here. Make it not so dark. And I want to add some of this turquoise as well. Teal, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to be a transition color. Okay? Between the two to marry them. Y'all, that's so pretty. And I have a dark background because I want this to show dark, the transition up to light. Okay? Now we need to add white. And where did my... Oh, here it goes. And for this, did I even open this? Yes, I did. Okay. For this one, I'm going to use Let's Resin's Ocean White. Gosh, y'all, I can't talk today. And look, I'm only putting a little bit in there. Holy cow. All right. Let's to the side. With my other pigments. I'm going to stir this up and see what we have. And that's fine. Wow, look how dark that got. This is fine. Do you have any plans this weekend? All right, so our white is ready. Now, let's start with our darkest color first. And I want to leave room because I'm putting that crushed glass in. So I need to have some room on my lip to cover that. I'm just going to use this. And I'm just going to marry it to the side. Okay? Just going to manipulate it. There we go. And move it around. So you see, this is not going to take very much at all. Like I said, I want to make sure all of our sides, and y'all can't really see that. All right. When I finish the live, I'll take close-up pics. Well, I can't really do that with the crushed glass over it, can I? Heck nabbit. All right. So now we're going to put our... Is this our... Yeah, that's our transition color. Down. All right, that's all of that one. And I want to move it. Move it, move it, move it. Y'all know what movie that's from. Thanks to my kids and my grandkids. Oh, yeah, that's fun, Sam. You do have a lot to get done. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to add my teal. Y'all, isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm going to move this down as well into the white. And you can see the difference of that, what I call an underpainting color. Okay? And I'm just going to marry these. I want them to look like they're running together. Same thing here with our dark and light. We want to join them and make this look like a natural flow, right? So we have that. Set that cup to the side. Wipe my gloves off. Now we're going to put our white down. Okay? And it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to marry. Like I said, I don't care if there's some sand in here. It doesn't bother me at all. All right. So I want to get this spread out. And you can even use your glove for this. Okay? If you want to get your fingers, like your finger painting, get your fingers dirty, this is a great project to do that. And we're going to put it up to the sides. And now comes the fun part, because we're going to marry this too. We're going to let it flow into each other. All right. Oh, back up here. Wipe that off. I'm actually going to wipe this off with my stick because I'm going to scrape the rest of this white out. So there we go with that. All right, that's done. Now comes the fun part. We get to use our crushed glass. Oh, I see a spot peeking out there. I want to make sure everything is covered. All right. Y'all, that could stand on its own, right? I love that teal. It's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, we could actually walk away from this like it is. You know, I didn't add any. I said I was going to add water there, and guess what I forgot? Water. But I have some here. And I can add clear to this. All right, set this to the side. Move my white. Get my teal. Set my clear up here so I don't wear it. It's gonna make a mess, y'all. We're gonna put that darker teal at the top. What we have left. And like I said, I can add some clear to this. There we go. I'm gonna marry those. And I'm gonna let the clear go up onto the sand. There we go with that. One more there. All right, done with that. Now, I'm going to add a little. That's it. No more. And I'm going to let resin. All right. There we go, y'all. All right, so we got our color down, right? Beautiful. Move the sand out of the way. Grab our crystals. Start with our darker color first. Start with our darker color first and have just a little clear plastic spoon. Like I said, I want my color to be seen, and that's why I spent all the time. And I'm just drizzling these crystals down. I'm going to get it out of the sand there. We're not going to have blue crystals in our sand. Okay. Want to add a little more, and I'm going to take a stick and move this around. Because I want it evenly distributed, like so. Okay? Now I can add a little more here. Just going to be mindful. And anything that's on your edge like so or spilled over is fine. No big deal. I'm going to close my dark blue. I'm going to move to my lighter blue. And I'm doing this fast because I'm doing it live. The best practice will be let this sit for an hour, maybe two, then come back and sprinkle your crystals over. It will still be wet enough that it's going to grab the crystal and help it maintain its color. You know what I mean? And this is all crushed glass. So we're going to put some here. It's going to take on some of those attributes. But I'll show you because I'll go back in an hour or two and I'll add some more crystals to this so you can see the difference. Now, it's going to be different when I add my quartz crystals because they're bigger. These are a smaller cut. So I'm going to come back in an hour or two. I'm going to add more on top of what we've already put down. And it's still, the resin is still going to be soft enough that it's going to grab my crystal and hold on to it. But for now, since I'm showing you this, I want you to see. There we go. Now we're using our lighter color. And this has, oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? All right, so I'm going to let that be. Move this to the side. My case to the side. And then I'm going to use my Real Quartz crystals. Now, see the difference of these, y'all? That is Real Quartz out of a mine. So we're just going to put this down. And it looks like ice cube, right? Just going to sprinkle it down. Like that. I'm going to save. I'm not going to use a lot of that because, like I said, they're real crystals. So I'm going to wait an hour or two and come back and add more. In the meantime, well, let's go in and get these little crystals out of my off the edge there. All right. CM2. All right, I just moved to the side. Now we have these little shells that I got, and I'm just going to lay them down. Okay, and I'm going to drizzle some regular resin over this. I'm going to lay some facing up. We have some broken pieces. We have another little piece maybe we'll put out of the ocean. Here. Put there. So you see how I just place this wherever. And I am going to drizzle. Maybe have some more up here. I'm going to drizzle some resin over top of this to kind of lock it in. And maybe some sand over some of these. Like that. All right. Wipe my glove off. What do y'all think? Is this easier than you thought it was going to be? And once this is cured, I can go back with a big makeup brush or whatever, and I can brush any loose particles away from that. In this, I will go back with an acrylic marker and paint or color my trim, so to speak. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to drizzle some resin over top here so it gets locked in. That's all I'm doing. Okay? We're drizzling some resin to make sure that it gets locked in. And I'm leaving my dry sand alone because I want that to look dry. But y'all, really, that's all it is. Is this much easier than you thought it would be? And if you don't want to use colored resin, you can use clear resin and let the underpainting shine through the clear. That's another option that you can do. Or you can not use crushed glass and just use the colored resin to do something like this. And have a few more of these. So maybe I'll do one with just colored resin. Maybe I'll do another one with cleared resin with an underpainting that will highlight the crushed glass more. But like I said, I'm going to wait another hour or so. I'm going to come back and add more crushed glass so it's more visible. And I have a top secret ninja thing I'm going to use, and it is called glitter glass. You can see how sparkly that is. I'm going to sprinkle this over top. I'll do it just a little bit now to show you. And be careful because this is legit glass shards. So you have to be very careful when you use this that you're not doing it barehanded. Okay? See how the light reflects on it? Okay. So I'll show you that. I'm going to put it over the second layer that I add. And that's it, y'all. That's how we make this. Once this is fully cured, you can attach hangers on the back of this so it can be hung on a wall or used as decor anywhere. But that's all there is to it. Was that easier, you guys? Whew. I'm sweating like a stuck pig. Goodness gracious alive. Anyway, whew. I'm going to use up the rest of this resin. I have other little things laying around that I can pour that resin in. I'm so glad this helped you, Zam. And I really can't wait for y'all to see the finished product when I go back after this is set up more and add additional glass that really pops off this piece. But like I said, for your colors, let them sit for an hour or two, then come back, add your glitter glass, and you're going to see the huge difference. And your color underneath is going to reflect through the bottom of that glass too and give it even more beauty. But y'all, that's all I have for this one today. Make sure, oh, I lied. It's not all. I said I was going to do a giveaway, right? I think I did say that. So, where did we go? Dude. Oh. Might help if I signed him. Whoop, give me a minute. Shame on me. All right, now we can do the giveaway. Are you ready? Here we go. There we go. Giving away some subscriptions. Let's see who got them. Wow, Zam. I thought you would get one. YouTube does a random thing. Well, if you received a membership, give us a like. Let us know in comments. That's you. I'm doing special things for my members. So if you want to join, just click the join button and come join us and help support the channel. My channel is not sponsored by anybody. I do it on my own little self. So everything you see here, I buy myself. So I can teach you guys new tips and tricks. And I love doing that. But make sure you give us a thumbs up so other people can find it. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That doesn't cost anything. It's free. And it really helps the channel and other people find us too. But y'all, that's all I have for this one. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have fun at any craft shows you're doing. Good luck with all your crafting, Zam. May it all go well with no bubbles. Right? That's what we wish everybody. But till next time, y'all, I am out of here. Happy arting. Ta-ta for now.